Action!
What was that?
And cut!
The most asked question, AMD or Intel? APU? No, we're not gonna talk about APU.
Cut!
All right, the pros for AMD. So as you guys know, the last generation, the 5000 series, ran extremely well when it came to temperatures and wattage. Still the same story happens now with the new 7000 series from AM5. They run extremely well, cool and lower wattage as well. Also, you have the benefit of the AM5 socket continuing on for the next generation. So when the new CPUs come out, you could actually just pop in the new CPUs in the current board you have. Tons of memory bandwidth as well for the USB ports is a huge benefit when it comes to the AMD lineup. Now that we've spoken about the pros for AMD, let's shift the focus over to Intel and let's talk about their pros. One that stands out quite a bit for me, especially is the memory. So with RAM, you can go pretty high up with these guys. Pretty much the 13 gen and the 14 gen, you're able to hit up 7200 megahertz frequency with really good timing as well. Overall stability, Intel has still the cake when it comes to, for content creators especially. A lot less issues on the Windows side of things. Also for a lot of video editors as well. Great for video editing. As I can say the same thing for AMD, very good for video editing as well, just again, a little bit less issues in the long run. Also, a lot less issues with memory bandwidth as well when it comes to USB ports. Also, when it comes to pretty much the mid-range, the i7-14700K, in my personal opinion, takes the cake this time around. With 28 threads, it's an amazing CPU for the price as well, and it's very hard to compete against when it comes to that price point. As far as the motherboards go, the one good feature about Intel, well actually of many features, is the boards. You can do DDR4 or DDR5. So if you plan to upgrade and you want to go with a 14 gen or 13 gen CPU, you can literally stick with a DDR4 board if you have some DDR4 RAM sitting around. Or you can go to DDR5 as well. So it gives you the two options. So pretty good amount of freedom when it comes to the actual motherboard selection. All right, now for the hard conversation, the cons. I'm gonna start off with AMD on this one. So when it comes to the cons with AMD, one thing I did appreciate about the last generation is the pricing. AMD 5000 series had an amazing price point when it came to motherboards and the CPU, especially with their X3D series. It just killed Intel when it came to the price per performance. This generation with AM5, unfortunately, the CPUs are more expensive, of course, and then the motherboards are pretty pricey as well. Also, when it comes to stability, there's still some little issues here and there. It's really odd. It's very finicky on some stuff. If you look at Jay's 2 cents video, he actually posted about it, him switching from the 7950 X3D back to the Intel platform because it's just little weird issues that for content creators is a pretty big deal. For the average home user, not so much. The other thing too as well, anytime you boot up an AM5 platform, it does take quite a bit. The reason for that is because it's literally doing a memory control every time you boot up. So it can take anywhere from like 45 seconds to 2 minutes. So we've had some clients reach out to us saying, hey, my PC's not booting, and then they get impatient and they just pretty much hold down the power button, shut it off. So that is a pretty irritating thing that AMD does. Other than that though, it's not too bad. Let's move over to Intel, see what they got as well. The cons for Intel, one thing I will say is, you've probably seen it, they run extremely hot. And they're very, very much power hungry. So you can see these things hit up to 380 watts, which is pretty insane for a CPU. But one of the biggest things that we personally have been having this issue with, and also some other SIs we've talked to, is there is this weird failure issue where clients will have a game where they try to open it, it just crashes immediately, or games are just unstable. From our personal experience, we're still testing a lot in-house to see what the main cause is, but we've had easily 30 plus CPUs now, all being i9s. This issue does not happen with the i7s or the i5s, but it definitely is something that is very concerning because it's just random. It could happen with a PC that's only 2 weeks old. It could happen with a PC that's 8 months old. So it's just very random. One example is, for example, Symphony. He had an issue with his build where Call of Duty was just not opening, CSGO was not opening, and we switched out the CPU, and after that was perfectly stable. So that is the biggest issue we currently have with Intel, and hopefully we find a solution. One thing we will say too is testing in-house is turning off the efficiency cores takes away that issue completely, and also turning off turbo boost as well. But other than that, that is the biggest issue currently with Intel, is definitely there's just this weird issue with the CPU itself. Only i9s, not i7s, not i5s. So as we're recording, Epic Games is putting blame towards Intel for the constant issues that they're having with crashing with the Unreal Engine. It's pretty crazy that as we're recording this article came out today. We're also experiencing the same exact thing, so this is more, I guess, backing the same issue we're having, and it's not just experiencing it in Fortnite or Unreal game engines, we're seeing this in multiple titles. I know at the beginning of the video I joked around about the new AMD APUs. The main reason for that is because there's really not that many pros for it. If you've looked at some of the review videos that have come out when they first launched, there are issues with these guys. One of them being obviously pretty much your bandwidth gets cut in half essentially when you use one of these. Also, the price points to me personally, on the 8700G for example, it's at $329, and personally if you were to get an i3 with like a 1650 Super, it outperforms these and it'll cost right around the same price point. So that is the main reason why I didn't talk too much about them. There's more cons than there is pros. The one good pro, I guess I would say, it is on the AM5 platform. So if you do have an AM5 board, you can kind of change it out if you did purchase one of these and you want to jump over to like a 7800X3D. Well, actually 7800X3D is the only thing I would really jump to out of the whole AMD lineup. But yeah, that's the main reason why I didn't talk too much about them. The 8600G as well is priced at $229. Again, personally, I feel like they're priced too high. I think if they would have priced them more around the maybe $229 for the 8700G and like $180 for the 8600G, it would be a better buy for sure. All right, and to answer your question, AMD or Intel? Again, these are my opinions. My personal opinion, I think, is gonna be Intel for sure. Again, at the end of the day, the stability is there. If you're looking at an Intel CPU, me personally, I'd recommend the i7-14700K. Again, you get 28 threads in total, great price, great performance. If you're looking at the AMD side, the only CPU I'd even touch is the AMD 7800X3D, obviously mainly for gaming. If you're video editing and stuff like that, don't do the 3D on the 7950, just do the 7950 non-X3D, and also you save some money. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna be choosing Intel. That is the way to go. DDR4 or DDR5, it really doesn't matter. I hope this answers your question. I know we get this a lot, so we thought, hey, why not? Let's make a video and let's answer these questions for you. Make sure to check out these 2 custom print builds that we're gonna have on our ready to ship page at PowerGPU.com. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Which one do you prefer, AMD or Intel?